Hey y'all, thank you for tuning into this video. My name is Jessica, and in my last video I addressed why I went on a year-long, if not a little bit longer, YouTube hiatus. And one of those reasons was because we had a baby. So I thought that I would go a little bit deeper into that. I'm gonna run down what it was like from a mental health perspective, the type of care that I received. I live in Mississippi, and this was my last baby. This is my third child, my first daughter, but my last baby, so it was a little bittersweet. I had to have another C-section, which made number 3. So I just wanted to share what that experience was like. If that's something that you're interested in, keep watching. All right, y'all, so I am 3 months postpartum. My daughter Ari is a little bit over 3 months. I will let you all meet her toward the end of the video, but I thought it would be a good time to just go ahead and talk about it while it's still kind of fresh on my mind, and is part of my intro videos coming back to YouTube. I don't really want to get into some of the heavier topics first. I want to let you all kind of get to know me again before we get into all of that, to kind of really share more about me so you can understand why I'm passionate about the things that I'm passionate about. So obviously I'm a Black woman, I'm a mom, so I have grown to become really passionate about maternal health and all the things that we experience as Black women in the name of healthcare. And I've learned a lot from some of the clients that I've worked with over the years. So I would say that each one of my pregnancies, I became more empowered. And big part of this video is that I had a doula this time. So that made a huge difference in my care. But I want to start off with my mental health. My mental health was in a really bad state with this pregnancy. It was by far the worst that it was with either of my children. So our oldest son is 5, our second son is 4, and then Ari, our baby girl, is 3 months. So out of all the pregnancies, my mental health was the worst this time around. It really had little to do with being pregnant, which was the case with the other ones. I just had a lot of personal and family issues going on this year. 2022 was trash. It was just utter trash. So that, that played a part in my mental health with this child. One noticeable difference was that I just didn't feel too guilty about it like I did with the first two, because I knew that I was doing my best. So I didn't really spend a lot of time worrying about how my mood would affect her. I really didn't let myself go there. Oh my God, I'm making her unstable. If you let yourself go there, it's bad. So I knew just from experience not to allow myself to go there. I did not have access to therapy while I was pregnant, but I wanted to do therapy so bad. At that time, I did not have any clients. I was just completely stay at home, completely homeschooling. So I didn't have the money to even really pay for therapy. I didn't get approved for my insurance until almost the end of my pregnancy. It was just terrible. So I did not have any type of mental support other than my husband. I had my doula, who was very instrumental in keeping me, where I wanted to be in my headspace, but it was just a really, really rough time. One of the things that I did to try to keep myself balanced was read the story of Joseph in the Bible. Actually, it was a devotional that I came across, because I would say that I spent the majority of 2022 in this season of waiting, knowing that God had something for us, something big, something great for us, but not having it, not knowing what it was, not knowing when it was coming. So I was just in a season of waiting, and I found a lot of inspiration from that devotion. I'm actually planning on reading it again. That's how good it was. And maybe I'll do some type of study in video form with it. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about that. I also did not really get to enjoy this pregnancy because of that, because of my mental health, because of, I'm looking at notes over here, but because of my mental health issues, the personal issues, financial issues that we were going through. I just couldn't enjoy it. And I think that really like messed me up over anything else, because I knew this was my last baby. It was my first little girl. Like, I was so happy to find out that I was having a girl. I didn't even believe it because I never thought I'd have a daughter. So this was supposed to be special, and I just could not enjoy it. But I thought about her every day, obviously. Like, I'm feeling her kicking and just imagining what she would look like. Not even being able to picture her face, but just being so excited to meet her. Like, that really just kept my spirits up. I know it kept Tony's spirits up. We were just anticipating seeing her, even though we really couldn't celebrate and enjoy it like we wanted to. It was just really a dark time for us, but holding on to the fact that we would meet our daughter kind of helped us push through. Now that I am 3 months postpartum, like, I'm better than ever. Like, I still have sad moments because some of those issues aren't resolved. But for the most part, like, I feel great. I know what it was that God had us waiting on. It is about to be manifest. So I'm just in a much better headspace. My daughter is obviously here, so I don't have the anxieties about giving birth that I had. So my mental health is way better. And I do have therapy now. I'm part of support groups. I can still call on my doula if I need to. I have more support around me. So I just feel loved. I feel special. And that is helping me to really enjoy this postpartum period with my daughter in ways that I couldn't enjoy my pregnancy. I think one thing from a mental health perspective too that I have to note that's different from my other pregnancies is that experience with like where you can go mentally, because I was in the dumps with Mason, our second son. I was extremely depressed with him. And it was like a totally different thing. And it makes me sad because I really haven't enjoyed any of my pregnancies, and I feel like that joy was stolen from me. But this time around, I knew that if I dwelt in those negative emotions or sad emotions, it would take me somewhere where I may not be able to pull myself out of. So I knew that like I can feel this, but I gotta like bring it back. I gotta get back to, thinking about the future, focusing on the future, looking forward, to really kind of push me forward. So that would be my advice. If you're struggling with your mental health, particularly during pregnancy, like, don't even let yourself go there. Redirect that thought. That really worked for me. So having a doula, oh my goodness, having a doula, I feel made the difference. I feel like it made all the difference because I had awful health care. I'm just gonna be honest. I live in Mississippi. We have had numerous stories written about the failure to expand Medicaid here in Mississippi. I was on Medicaid. I am a contractor, so I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a consultant, so I don't have health insurance through a job or anything like that. So I was able to get on Medicaid, but I found out I was pregnant in December or January. And I had my first appointment in February because everything was so booked because of the backlog from the pandemic. So I was already seeing a doctor later than I wanted to. Then my insurance didn't even come through until like July. And I had my daughter, no, it was June. And I had my daughter in August. So I really wasn't covered for the majority of my pregnancy, which was extremely frustrating. It was frustrating because I knew my paperwork was just sitting around. I was calling every day, leaving voice messages. I could not get anything. I even had the doctor's office call Medicaid to try to push it through. It did not work. So that was very difficult to cope with, and it was extremely stressful. So that sucked. But I had a doula through all of this. I was part of the Jackson Safer Childbirth Experience, and they provided us with a doula. So Cashapp, it's my wonderful doula's name. She was amazing. She really empowered me. I felt extremely empowered, not just from my knowledge working in the industry or in the field, but having her to tell me certain things to help me feel comfortable. I successfully advocated for myself. It was something that I did not want done. And I refused it. And it was the first time I ever refused like a medical procedure because I just didn't have the confidence. I didn't think I could, even though it's like, hey, it's my own body. I say what happens. I just never like had the balls, for lack of a better word, to advocate for myself. And I did. And I did that because I had a doula, and it felt amazing to tell them no. That was like the best thing ever. So my doctor, I won't say his name, I was referred to him by my doula. She had the best intentions, but he was terrible. I'm just going to be honest. I feel like he played with my emotions a lot. He made promises that he did not keep. He ditched me at the end of my pregnancy, and a total stranger delivered my baby. So that was just like, I mean, when I tell you it was stuff on top of stuff, I hardly took any pictures while I was pregnant. I just was so miserable. I was so unhappy and just trying to hold on to any little piece of hope and excitement that I could. But it was really, really rough. I cried at the doctor's office several times because I just felt like I wasn't being listened to. I didn't want to switch because of the insurance issue and how late it was in my pregnancy that I got care. I was a little concerned about how everything would turn out. And I felt like it was almost a omen. Like, yeah, this means it's going to go bad for you. Like, you know, I was telling myself, like, all the things that I was afraid of happening, they're happening. And this can't be good. Like, I was psyching myself out. But yeah, he was awful. Like, do not recommend. It wasn't like my doula's fault. She had had good experiences with him, and there were specific reasons why she referred me to him. It just didn't really work out. The wait times were terrible. I would be at the doctor's office for 4 hours sometimes. I would go and he wasn't there. That happened more than once. So the healthcare was terrible, and it made me feel like there's no way, even if I wasn't sure that she was going to be my last child, there's no way I was going to have another baby. I think that having a doula too was helpful, just outside of like baby stuff. Like, she helped me navigate some of the family issues that I was going through, and just really like where I was in my life at that time. She was truly a godsend, and she decorated my room for me. I'm getting emotional. Don't cry, Jessica, don't cry. She was so amazing. Like, I didn't get to have a baby shower. Oh, I'm crying, no. I guess I didn't realize like how much all this affected me. Like, I knew, but I'm feeling it all again. Let me calm down. I'll be right back. So while I'm taking this short break to collect myself, I just wanted to pop in and say that I know crying on camera is cringe. Like, I've done it before and I regret it. And I really, really wanted to edit this one out, but I decided to keep it because as a Black woman, I think it's important that I show my vulnerability, give myself permission to be vulnerable and to be vulnerable publicly. I don't have to wear this cape because what I was feeling at that time was very real. It still makes me emotional, and it would be a lie to act like those tears never happened. That pain is still there. But I'm showing up. I just hope that y'all don't talk about me for crying. I expose myself a little bit in an effort to show another mom, you're not alone. Oh my gosh. It's giving Candace from the Housewives of Potomac. I didn't get to have a baby shower for a lot of reasons, but she decorated my room for me to like celebrate our daughter being born, and that was everything. That was like my baby's birthday party. Somebody to take the time to do that. The hospital staff loved it. I felt so special. I feel loved. Like, I just feel great. Like, Tony will tell you, I wish he was here to film this video with me, because he'll tell you how happy we were in the hospital. We were so happy because that gesture from her, it like sent off this amazing energy in the room. Even though like my doctor ditched me, the doctor that I did have was a Black woman. She was a Black doctor that delivered my baby girl. I was feeling feeling good, you know, going in. It was the first time I actually went into the hospital at a scheduled time. In the past, it wasn't like that. So I had to have a repeat C-section. This was my third C-section. We originally wanted to do a VBAC, but the doctor that I had that ditched me, he was like, no, not doing it. My doula actually encouraged me to push back on that if I really wanted the VBAC, but to be honest with you, I didn't want to try for it. I was perfectly fine with going into a C-section. So this is where I feel like there's more room to kind of discuss and advocate and educate when it comes to maternal health, and that's actually having C-sections. So as someone who's had 3, I feel like now, okay, I was part of the Jackson Safer Childbirth Experience, which provided us with a doula, but we also had access to, like, they gave us stuff for our babies. We also had access to, like, childbirth classes, and one of the classes was, like, a hypnobirthing class, and it didn't really do a lot for me because I was having a C-section. But I did start to think about how we do need to think about C-sections because they are a realistic outcome for many. You know, my first son, I went into labor naturally, but I ended up having to have a C-section. My second child, we were trying for a VBAC. My doctor really wanted us to do that, but it just didn't work out like that. So I had to end up having a C-section anyway after being in labor for hours and hours and hours, and it was really traumatic. So I feel like there is room to educate people on what to expect with a C-section because it's a reality for a lot of moms. You just don't always get to have the birth that you want. You know, and C-sections they do have additional risks. But for me, in this situation, having a third child, being a little bit older, having more experience, I was actually okay with having a C-section because it was scheduled. I knew when I was going to go in the hospital, so there were no surprises there. I knew that I would not have to sit and be in labor and feel contractions and not know what's going to happen. I knew I was going in having a C-section. Now, on the other hand, that did make me a little nervous because I knew it. Ain't that crazy? Like, it calms you, but then it makes you nervous too. So it was that type of situation. I was cool until, like, I started to get the IV. That's when I started like, oh my God, I'm about to have another surgery. I've always really been worried about just dying in surgery because of all the horror stories you hear about C-sections, but they can actually be okay. I had kept my anxiety about giving birth like in check until I got that IV. But to bring it back to the doctor, her name was Dr. Flanchoy. She came in and I was telling her, I was like, look, I'm really, really nervous. Like, this is my third child, my third C-section. You know, this is my first scheduled one, so I knew what to do. I came straight in. I know I'm having my baby in about 30 minutes. I can't believe it. I'm like freaking out mentally, but you know, like, I'm nervous. And she kept saying, why? And I'm like, because, you know, Black women, we tend to die in childbirth more and we have more complications. And she was like, but have you ever had a Black woman doctor? And I was like, no. And they just kind of like I'm in good hands. I felt at ease with her. Like, she hugged me, she held my hand, she told me we was gonna be good. Like, it was just like everything. It was everything. I did have a little scare this time around because my blood pressure was really, really high. I could hear it like beeping, and the doctor was like, girl, why are you going up like that? Which was scaring me because I'm like, oh my God, am I about to die? My blood pressure won't come down. But the team was so amazing. My husband wasn't in there at that time, thank God, because he would have about passed out. But they helped me to calm down. That staff was amazing. It was by far my best hospital experience. The nursing staff was amazing. Now, granted, it wasn't a lot of women giving birth up there, so they could have had something to do with it. They were just amazing. Team of Black nurses taking good care of me, great care of my husband. The food was on point. I could not have prayed for a better hospital experience, and that's the truth. And it felt really good to have had the rough pregnancy that I had the jacked up healthcare for it to end in that way, to really bring Ari into the world with such good vibes. We had so many good vibes. She is our last baby. We are done. Done, 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 done. No more babies coming from the Lofton family. We're done. And it's bittersweet because I didn't get to enjoy the pregnancy. It makes it bittersweet that she's my last baby. She's a little baby now, but when she becomes a big girl, like, it's no more babies coming. And I'm like, please stay a baby forever. So it's bittersweet in that way, but it's really sweet to know that I'm not gonna be pregnant again. I am extremely excited about that. I did not know that having a daughter would feel like this. I never thought that I'd get to have a daughter. I secretly wanted one. So she's like my dream come true. She is everything to me. I love her so much. We love her so much. The boys adore her. She loves them. She spends a lot of time just hanging out with them. She's a daddy's girl. She put on that smile for her daddy. I mean, she just has been such a light. She has made everything that we went through this year worth it. Like, she has the most gentle spirit. I just love my baby. I love her so much. It made me feel jealous of Tony a little bit because as much as I love Marley and Mason, I know that he has a connection with them that I'll never have because I'm not a man. But I get to have it with her because it's stuff that, like, I connect with her on and I can feel and understand and comprehend that he can't because he's a man. So I just love her. I love it. Our family definitely feels complete with her. We were really missing her. And God knew we had to have her. Quick story, she was actually prophesied. Shout out to Melody, my friend Melody. I was working part-time for a little while at this call center when I was pregnant with Mason, and we met there. And like I said, I was pregnant with Mason. Wasn't even really close. I was a little close to delivering him, but I was pregnant with him, and she told me, y'all are going to have another baby, and it's going to be a girl. And she trolled me on social media, and I was like, girl, I'm going to block you. I ain't having no more kids. So when I found out I was pregnant, I knew it was a girl, and she was one of the very first people that I told. But I waited till we found out she was a girl before I told her. So Ari had to be here. She had to be here. She has a purpose. We are so happy to be her parents, and she just brightens up our entire lives. We love her so much. I guess now's a good time for you to meet her. She's asleep, but it might be good for me to like get her now because I have to be on Facebook Live in about 20 minutes so I can nurse her. I'm breastfeeding this time around. I breastfed Mason. I didn't even try with Marley, but I tried with Marley, but I gave up in the hospital before we even came home. But I breastfed Mason for a couple months, but she is exclusively breastfed. Like, she don't even take formula. She refuses it. So that's been a journey, but more on it later. I'm gonna let y'all meet her right now. Here she is. Here she is. My Ari Dream. Her name is Ari Dream Lofton. Here she is. Hey, mommy. Hey, mommy. Oh, you don't like that light. Say hi. Oh. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. You'll get to see my girl soon when she's up and excited. Hey, mommy. Oh, that light too bright. It's the ring light. It's too bright. It's okay. Say bye.